One of the most loved under the class of general aviation flying today, the Cessna 172, and the kind that has produced the most till date. There are a variety of reasons why people love general aviation flying, isn't it? The freedom and flexibility to choose the destination of choice, a closer connection to flying, the opportunity to explore remote locations, an escape from routine or reality, and more importantly, a sense of accomplishment that can be rewarding. Generally speaking, there are plenty of hardware that meets your needs, each trying to address an area and hoping to connect the missing dots in immersion at flight simming. But a very few of those hardwares are out there that can really make a difference to you, accompany you perfectly during your journeys. Today's showcase isn't just another product. I believe it's worth taking a look into every detail, aspect, the real user fit on your next year flying experience. Ladies and gentlemen, as exciting as it sounds, we bring you another episode to showcase your hardware in the lines of GA flying. Thanks for tuning in, and I'm Chikmanglo. It all started at the Flight Sim Expo when I couldn't stop noticing this product, and there were just a few hardware that actually surprised me during the event. I've had the opportunity to try out this panel from Ron's team, the Cessna 172 Gen 2 panel, for the last couple of months, and every minute of this has been a pleasure, and that's what we're featuring today. First off, whom are we talking about? The Altimeter Motives, headed by Ron Sartore and his team. This team isn't just a team of creators. I think and believe they're much more than that, with an artistic talent. It all begins from what you really think, the mindset you have on what you can really offer, and that relates to quality and performance. Let's move to unboxing. I received the unit in a safely packed box that arrived on an UPS delivery within 2 days, which was free shipping by the way. Very nicely packed to keep the items safe. Now the contents of the box include a flat screen panel itself neatly tucked in, a couple of 12-inch bungee cords to secure the panel to the monitor, a controller unit where you can plug your USB cable, and of course a USB-A cable. Now this doesn't include a monitor, and in my case, I use my old 24-inch monitor, which is perfect. By the first look of it, imagine holding a sleek grey acrylic flat screen panel. It feels solid precision you're looking at it. Now Ron had mentioned about the laser cut and UV printing details, which now makes sense looking at the material here. The vivid UV printed details enhance both aesthetics and usability. It does feel like an artistic blend of form and function. Setup. Setting up the panel was effortless. A plug-and-play with a USB interface that seamlessly integrates, which hardly took about 5 minutes. Make sure you tighten the screws of the panel against the monitor. It doesn't really have to be really tight, but just make sure it holds it well, and use the given bungee cords, placing them on the connecting points, which helps the panel secure well on the monitor. Now the product comes with a software that has been designed for Cessna 172. You can download the custom Altimeter Motives Air Manager program from Sim Innovations. It's a bit easier if you go straight to the Altimeter's website to get the app. Installing shouldn't take you any time, and after installing the program, you can now see a 172 icon on your desktop. By running the app, you should now be able to see a beautiful overlay of the instruments on any of your monitors. You can right-click and choose the monitor you plan to display these instruments on. In my case, I choose the 1920 by 1080p monitor. Now this works for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, X-Plane 12, 11 or FSX. Right on the first look and feel, quality and craftsmanship I would say. Reminds me of my beautiful watch that has so much that goes into it. Things we admire. I mentioned quality, and there's a reason for me to stress that. Every part of this panel has been very well done. Now in this day and age, we have 3D printing that's been a common practice, and it's always a good thing to move forward with this technology. But at the same time, It won't really produce the quality you intend to offer every time. And these are the types of things you use every day, keeping them for a long time. Laser printing and using the best grade of materials. That's been the practice with Altimeter Motives, which makes a big difference. The writings here have been engraved perfectly as we see it. I can literally feel it. Now the smooth dials on the circles, the quality of plastic used has a very premium feel to it. As we see the backside of the panel, it's all in one circuit that connects all the knobs to one unit, keeping everything in sync. Plug and play. That's how simple it was. Made in the USA, by the way. Let's look at my previous setup. I shot this video on both my previous and new setups to showcase you how nicely it aligns within your setup. It was a bit tricky to set up the monitor, trying to see if the instruments could be in front of me. I do have some suggestions. As we see it, I'm using a smaller monitor for the panels here, and it's a 24-inch monitor. An old monitor which I'd placed it for a few years in the corner. Now color matters here. You'll notice it especially with the blacks. An LED monitor would be ideal in this case that has better blacks, hence giving you a better visual of the dials. Now my monitor is an Asus VA24E. It's a 24-inch 1920 by 1080p resolution. Now a brand new one costs you $109 as you see it. You can still get a used one in this case for $85 at Amazon, or you can use any old 24-inch monitor if you have one. Now the Altimeter Motives website suggests you another model which is quite similar, the Asus VA24DQ. Do take a look at that, and I'll place the link in the description below. The use and functionality, an even more important aspect for us to consider apart from quality. Now the Cessna 172 was the obvious choice to check the functionality here, and I couldn't be happier enough to try out the Cessna Enhancement Pack from WB Sim that's available at the Just Flight store. A near study level and a perfect companion as it has all the dials which function, and that's what we need to experience here. If we want something to try, ideally it's best to try out a perfectly made aircraft that can respond well and show you the current state of the aircraft in all aspects. Every dial is connected to the sim that can offer us feedback. There are control knobs and buttons as we see it for the airspeed temperature, altimeter barometer setting, heading deviation, heading direction bug, nav1 direction, nav2 direction, ADF direction, and the clock functions which include control, select, and temperature volt. There are a number of things I can take from this panel right off the first flight. Firstly, feedback. There are other hardware including Toby, which gives you the opportunity to view the instruments. But can you really see them all the time the way you want to see it? Of course not. GA flying is a good mix of VFR and IFR flying. That means having instruments placed right can improve your experience, and having them at the right distance or closer to you represents what you experience. It's a given that flight instruments are important on every flight, as this provides vital information to the pilot, enabling us to maintain control of the aircraft and make informed decisions timely. I've never used an instrument panel at all before and always relied on 2D. But right after a few flights on this panel, I now realize and can find a number of reasons on why having an instrument panel can make a difference in flight simming. There are plenty of reasons, and some of them are situational awareness. Now, flight instruments display critical data about the aircraft's attitude, airspeed, altitude, heading, and other essential parameters. And by having these instruments visible right in front of you, it gets easy to quickly and accurately assess the aircraft's current state. Aircraft control. Properly functioning flight instruments help maintain precise control over the aircraft. For example, the attitude indicator or the artificial horizon shows the aircraft's pitch and roll, allowing you to keep the aircraft level and coordination during maneuvers. Learning and training. Flight simming is often used for pilot training and learning new aircraft systems. A combination of this panel and a near study level Cessna can help me learn a lot more about the systems and practice various flight scenarios, procedures, and emergency situations realistically. Did we mention realism and immersion? Now the primary objective is to replace real-world flying as closely as possible. These instruments enhance the realism and immersion of the experience, making it more effective for training and entertainment. Look at the way as we see that response, and there isn't any microsecond lag here. That's what I like to show here. It synchronizes the way it's supposed to. It is now that my journey on GA flying actually begins, I would say. Now on the panel, we need to realize and know that this is not just Cessna 172 specific. It doesn't have to be. If you check Sim Innovation's website, who worked on Air Manager, they offer you a number of panels which are free and premium as well, that can be perfectly aligned with any other aircraft as well, be it a glider or a Baron or even a Cessna 152. There are panels out there to help you get more engaged. What are my opinions on this? Well, you heard me saying right from the start about this. Quite frankly, I've never been a GA flyer, as I mostly fly jets or airliners or soar on a glider. But this change of having an instrument right in front of you feels like an actual instrument giving you constant feedback on how your bird responds or where you're heading. It makes a complete difference to me. Now, I've never been a fan of GA flying for many reasons, and although we have some hardware like Toby, which I use on every flight by the way, Toby does give you the comfort to look around. However, you really can't keep looking down at your dials to maintain the course of your flight. Even though you technically can, it's just not comfortable. The placement of instruments within the cockpit hold a significant impact on the pilot's interaction with the aircraft and the environment. Now, this crucial aspect of cockpit design not only affects functionality, but also influences the cognitive workload, situational awareness, and overall flying experience. Instruments should be placed right. The eyes haunt between the instrument and the scenery. It changes your focal distance, and it's important to understand that the pilot's visual focus, which should remain more centralized, and a closer proximity creates a better connection between the pilot and the instruments, almost as an extension of their own body. I believe that striking the right balance between instruments and the visual panorama is a testament to the artistry of cockpit design. Now, on conclusion, my new cockpit is no doubt a much better upgrade, I can say. And that panel right in front of me, let's put it this way. It's like a beautiful watch which you love, just not to take an occasional glance. Rather appreciate that beauty every time you look at it and use it on every flight. I mean, just look at those dials and how beautiful they look. Working knobs. And the dial I love the most is the attitude indicator with that beautiful color combination. One of the nice things about having hardware is the way it gets included without you noticing that there's a new hardware. Seamless integration. Now, the panel is sold for $425, which is the Cessna 172 Gen 2 panel with the software included plus free UPS shipping. If you're into GA flying, you should consider having one of these panels, as it does make a difference. By the way, when available, there are many other products as well designed to suit your needs, from the dual G5 panel as well, plus 6-pack panel that consists of a panel that holds 6 instruments, a much more smaller version that can be part of your cockpit. We need to realize that this isn't a conveyor belt operation where the team keeps producing tons every day. They take good time and effort and carefully craft each of these panels, hoping to make simmers enjoy every flight on their journeys. And to put it overall, this has been my most favorite hardware to date, and I can't thank the team enough to create not just a panel that functions, but also showcases the craftsmanship and the affinity towards creating this. What a pleasure to fly with this panel. Hopefully, you like this video and do subscribe for future releases, as we have so much more to cover. As always, it's been a true pleasure, and until next time, do take care and happy flying.